Exactly. So this is my journey about AI adoption, and it's actually a story about skepticism, about doubts, about denial, about fear even, but also a story about a newfound joy in my job, actually. As this is highly subjective, a few facts about myself. I work as an SRE. I used to be a developer, but for 10 plus years, I work in the SRE space now. I work over 20 years in the IT industry, so I've seen a lot of things, and I've also seen a lot of things disappear. I have kids. I prefer working in startups, fast-moving companies, very much so over like rigid, process-driven companies, and maybe that is because I have somehow a problem dealing with things I find stupid. And that is actually that was my first take about AI, right? I thought, okay, this is just another hype cycle that's going to go away again. I can basically sit that out. And I had a lot of different problems with it. We talked about ethics this morning as well, right? So this was one of the problems I had. The ethics behind AI are pretty broken, in my opinion, right? Resource usage, energy usage, copyright infringements. Lots of problems. Also, the impact on culture and society. As I said, I have kids, so I like to think about in what future my kids will be living. And I think there are a lot of upsides, there are a lot of downsides as well. And finally, of course, I did try it every once in a while, right? Even if I had denial and skepticism, but I always used it the wrong way, only on hard problems, only if I couldn't get things done on my typical approach. But then there was a moment where I was reconsidering, and it was last year. The quality of the models improved. Also, adoption in our company was pushed very much and was going up rapidly. And for the very first time in my career, I really had the thought that I might miss something if I don't learn how to use it. And I also realized that it's just a tool, right? I mean, it's not a magic problem solver. As I said, it's something you need to learn how to use. And I started experimenting with it, and the very first success stories came along quickly. As I said, I'm an SRE, so often I find problems in production, but I was relying on engineering teams to fix them for me, actually. But all of a sudden, I could do stuff like that myself because the harness on our monorepo was already quite good, so I could fix a lot of stuff myself. A lot of tasks I had in my very long backlog of things I eventually would like to do, I could tackle. And that led me to think about, what do I actually like about my job? Is it editing YAML files? Is it editing JSON files and having all these long cycles sometimes how you work? Not so much, right? And I realized this can actually be a super helpful tool if you know how to use it. And LLMs are super good at some things I'm not good at. Repetitive and ambiguous tasks, for example. Writing documentation, updating documentation, doing proper pull request descriptions. I'm super bad at that. People who work with me might know. And especially, and that's super good for an SRE, in my opinion, is like working, keeping, and preserving context, because I'm context switching all the time. And this is, for example, one of the things I do. We do in our team now. We're a distributed team, right? And we have agent tasks that are basically working for us to keep and preserve context and keep you up to date of what's happening across time zones, across different places, right? I also use it not so much for programming tasks, but a lot for analysis tasks, actually. And I kind of teach the agents the stuff that I used to do manually. So now I'm in a constant state of cognitive dissonance, I have to say, because I'm really worried about what it's going to do to our industry, to junior developers. I'm experienced, so for me it's a good tool, but like, where are the experienced people in 20 years, right? Are they still coming? I'm also worried about the people leading the charge here, because in my opinion, most of the leaders in this space are kind of crazy maniacs. But I can recommend watching an interview with Demis Hassabis. There are sane people too. And now I use it in a meaningful way and really every day. And I think what we as technologists can do is trying to influence the usage around us, right? Teach people to use it in a proper way. So the moral of the story is, for experienced engineers, it's a great tool, but there are still a lot of problems and a lot of skepticism and doubt I have with it. And I just want to tell you, if you feel the same, if you feel overwhelmed by the pace and by all the things that are happening, you're not alone. and ignorance is not going to make it away. Is not going to make it go away. So we have to kind of adapt and make the best of it. Out of it, in my opinion. Thank you.